I am going to introduce the first passport, which is the green. The green passport is for is the only citizen to run for MP, to become minister, to become office holder in this country, and at the same time has the power and the authority to acquire wealth in terms of properties. We are losing our lands to foreigners. The foreigners are buying outright our properties. They are buying outright every land in this country. In the next 10 years to come, your grandchild might not be able to buy a land anymore because he was born poor, or either he was born in an advantaged home. I intend to bring back sovereignty to the people of Ghana, and that Ghanaians must begin to understand that we owe Ghana. And man, we must be able to protect it for the future leaders, the generation after us. This generation might be poor, but the generation after us can be rich. And when they become rich, what is theirs now? Everything is gone. Right now, because we vote for people with more money than more brains, very soon, Chinese, Lebanese, foreigners will naturalize. And the Constitution of Ghana says once you are a Ghanaian and you hold a Ghanaian passport and you are 40 and you are sane, you can run for president. And this must be stopped. If not, one day, foreigners will now begin to sponsor their own to take over Ghana from us. And we'll be left with nothing.
Okay.
So the passport number 1 becomes so unique, it has more preferences than the passport number 2, which is half Ghanaian, half citizen, and the passport number 3, which is somebody who is naturalized.
Okay.
Now...
All right, so we have to leave it here. We have to leave it here. Now, just ask you about 1 or 2 questions that we'll move over to our audience here.
All right.
Let's start off with a flat rate with power and water. Is it for...
I bring on the board a new dimension of change of mindset and attitude, that the most important aspect of life is our mind. And once we have that change of mindset, it becomes key in decision making. It helps us to be able to make the things that we want to do. It helps to build our country and change the way we do things. Over the years, lack of change of mindset is what has brought Ghana to where we are. We don't trust our leaders because they are not transparent and sincere to us. We don't believe in our leaders because they do not engage us and tell us what they are using our resources for, our finances for, our budget for. Politicians have raped this country to the extent that no Ghanaian person believes in political leaders anymore. And that must change. We must change as leaders in order to get the Ghanaian society to change their mindset and accept us, and we can build a country devoid of corruption. So first of all, change of mindset. Then there's number 2, is Ghana and Ghanaians first. We are not proud to be Ghanaians. We've lost it all. Our resources, our wealth, our minerals has been taken over by foreigners. Our businesses are collapsing because we don't even believe in the Ghanaian society. We believe in foreigners. Our oil is in the hands of foreigners. Bauxite in the hands of foreigners. Gold in the hands of foreigners. Diamond in every mineral resource that is controlled by Ghanaians have been taken over by foreigners. Where come the Ghanaians? Where come the local content? What makes up the citizens, the young one coming out? So I believe in number 2 policy is that Ghana comes first, that we must become patriotic citizens. Changing our mindset will make us believe in the Ghana and the Ghanaian society first and build local content, give tax incentive to local businesses to grow, to take back our society, take back our wealth. Where is the Ghanaian society today? We are becoming the 21st century slaves that Nkrumah has told us, neocolonialism. That Ghana is now in the hands of foreigners and we are becoming beggars in our own country. And until we all begin to understand that nobody No state, no individual, no foreigner is coming to salvage Ghana unless we do it ourselves. And that we must put our citizens first, no matter the situation. When it comes to jobs, we have to give our citizens first. When it comes to contracts, we have to give our citizens first. When it comes to tax incentives for our businesses to grow, we have to give our citizens first. When it comes to award of contracts, government contracts, our citizens must come first. Because we cannot live in a country where we come last. So that is number two. Number three, I believe in data.
Okay.
And I think that the number three policy is to have a national data system. We do not have a data system. We get confused with Ghana card as data. But I intend to roll what is called a national database. The national database is going to capture every information of every Ghanaian, right from the child born this morning, the biometrics, the data, the properties of every Ghanaian, the wealth of every Ghanaian.
The wealth of every
Yes,
Ghanaian.
your bank details, your resources, where you work, how you live, what you do, where you come from, whether you're a student or not, whether you're underprivileged living in a house or you're living on the street. Every data must be collected. We want to become a data-driven economy where we build infrastructure data system to be able to police and understand and know every Ghanaian society, how you live, what you do, where you come from, and I need to have this data. Once I have this data infrastructure system, it helps me to be able to know deficits in agriculture. It helps me know deficit in the healthcare. It helps me know deficit in education and every sector of the economy. It helps me fight corruption from zero down to level. That because nobody can be corrupt anymore. Because with the data, I know your house, I know your cars. So all your number plates of all your cars you have is counted. Your phone number becomes the first key of the data system. Everybody who has one phone number, unique, and one that is captured. It gives me statistics of who you are, how you live, what you do. This is to police the country we want to call Ghana and help us to build the next policy. The next policy becomes a national development plan. We've been talking about plans. We've been talking about national development plans over the years. But what do? We talk about 20 years national development plan, 30 years. But you need a data to be able to plan now. So with the data, I am able to plan because I know deficit in everything. So students that I want to train, I now know what kind of students I want to train in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years. Whether we are doing the sciences, we're doing the arts, or whatever kind of students we're doing, because we have a data to help us be able to plan the kind of country we want to have. We have a banana economy. We don't plan. We don't know where we are going. We never know when we'll get there. We just get up every day. The president doesn't know you, whether you exist, whether you survive, whether you live or not. With this data, I am able to plan properly, effectively. Decision-making becomes very easy for me because data once collected help in quick decision-making in every aspect of life. So we plan now. What do? We begin to lock down. The policy number 4 is called economic lockdown. Why economic lockdown? In 2019, 2020, 21, we locked down Ghana because of pandemic. What did we learn from the pandemic lockdown? I learned a lot from it. That Ghana could not feed 2 states, Greater Accra and President so-called Greater Kumasi. That within 2 weeks, we have to lift the lockdown because we did not have food security in order to contain and manage these 2 states. What have we learned? What we should learn from it is that we are not producing enough. We're not manufacturing enough. We do not have food security. And if this lockdown had continued, Ghanaians would have starved to death. We should stop blaming Russia, Ukraine, and COVID-19 for our calamities and crises. We were already facing these crises before the lockdown and the COVID-19, but it only exposed our inability to perform. So the economic lockdown is to become president for 1 year, import the raw materials that are necessary to turn Ghana into a production, manufacturing, and an industrial hub. Once we lock down 1 year, no importation, no export, we now become, because currently we import over $1.2 billion of rice every year. Meanwhile, we can farm rice. We have so many lands that we're not making good use of it. Parboiled rice is the best rice from Ghana. You go to the States, you go to any part, it's the most expensive rice in Ghana. We don't farm. We spend over $850 million in the importation of cooking oil every year. We have cocoa butter we can use to do oil. We have shea nut we can use to do oil. We have granules we can use to do oil. We have palm oil we can use to do oil. We have soya bean we can use. Why are we not making good use of this? So the economic lockdown is to make Ghana self-sufficient and self-reliant so that we stop the importation of commodities like rice, oil, fish, frozen chicken, and all that. What is wrong with our mindset? Why can't we build that country that we can turn our country to a production, manufacturing, and an industrial hub? So locking down Ghana is going to turn us into production, manufacturing, and industrial hub. For the next 1 year, Ghana must begin to change the way we consume the things we do. So we have to produce what we eat and eat what we produce. So we need to change our consumption pattern to begin to prioritize our local food, our local content, that is yam, and make it an exportable product. Conte, cassava, and all these things. This is what we eat. But right now, we are importing perfume rice every year, spending billions of dollars importing perfume rice, billions of dollars importing, endowment. How can a country become economically independent without producing and manufacturing? So after locking down this country and turning Ghana into an economic independence, like production, manufacturing, then now come the 24-hour economy of the APC. Because when you lock down and turn your country to a production and manufacturing industrial hub, you will need a labor force to work 24 hours around the clock to turn Ghana into that productive manufacturing hub. So what we will now need is to work 3 times daily, 3-shift system. The 24-hour economy introduces the 3-shift system, where people will work 8 hours in the morning for production, work 8 hours in the afternoon for manufacturing, and work 8 hours in the evening for industrialization. The labor force we have currently will have to increase. Unfortunately, we become a 24-hour economy will mean that we need to increase the labor force, because we are running a 3-shift system that will allow people to work more in the afternoon, at day and night. So Ghana is now going to become vibrant in the day and at night. Okay? This will help increase productivity, help create more jobs, more opportunity, and turn our country into a more resilient, self-sufficient country. And that will begin the economic transformation that Ghanaians must be. This is to help the lockdown become very quick, very fast in productivity and manufacturing, and increase all forms of institutions that will help the lockdown perform. Now, moving forward, when you lock down a country, what is the best thing to do? Welfare of the citizens. Currently, our citizens, the labor force, the minimum wage has been patched, that is Act 2003 651. It's patched at 18 cedis 99 pesos. What it means is that Ghanaian minimum wage is 18 cedis 99 pesos. No Ghanaian citizen can survive with 18 cedis 99 pesos. And it's becoming a problem. So I am going to patch the minimum wage from 150 Ghana cedis to 3,000 Ghana. That's the daily minimum wage. And now patch minimum salary. The Ghanaian citizens are not earning up to 1,000 Ghana cedis monthly salary. So a minimum salary will now become 5,000 Ghana cedis on monthly basis. But going forward, on welfare again, you know what is happening in our country? That we have a salary structure system that Ghanaians get every 30-day salary, which is called the monthly salary. When they take their salary, it doesn't sustain them a week. And after 1 week, Most Ghanaians, 90% of the Ghanaian society salary gets finished within 1 week, and they are stranded. This is the cause of so much corruption, mismanagement, and wastage in our country. I am going to change the policy of the monthly salary to become now 2 weeks salary. So no Ghanaian will now take salary every month. You will now be taking salary every 2 weeks. So from now onwards, as president, no Ghanaian citizen will be taking salary every 1 month. You will now be getting your salary every 2 weeks. So the people of DTV, every Ghanaian worker, private, public, everyone will now get 2 weeks salaries. It is called bi-weekly salary structure. So I'm now going to introduce what is called the bi-weekly salary structure. Now, introducing bi-weekly salary structure means that certain groups of people, we need to create a new dimension of job creation. And what is going to happen is that once the 24-hour economy is running, salary structure section, we will need to create job centers. So I'm going to build nationwide job centers in each district and each constituency. That companies will not need to scout looking for workers anymore. The nationwide job centers are going to be centered in every district and every constituency. That it's a building that is properly structured with computers and systems. Companies now do not need to be scouting looking for people to give jobs. And job seekers will also not need to be running to companies to looking for jobs. So what it means is that you key in, because of the national data system that we are enrolling, everything has a data. So you key in your data into the job centers, and any young man who is looking for a job will only go into the system, key in, and then search for the kind of job he or she is looking for. And no more sex for job, no more payment of bribery for jobs, no more people running with certificates and roaming around the country, the streets of Accra, from one political party's office to another, no more voting for job, and no more deceiving anybody for job. The job centers are there. The APC is building structures, institutions for every Ghanaian to get the opportunity to live a decent life and will not become a burden to another citizen. So under my leadership, no citizen of Ghana will become a burden to another citizen. Now, in order to be able to cushion all these companies, the manufacturing companies, the industries, the production companies, to produce at a very low cost, I am introducing what is called flat rate, ECG flat rate. So now, nobody will pay ECG through the meters.
Okay.
Meters are deceptive. Meters are, you're paying more than you're consuming. So under my leadership, no more meter. I am going, because of the national data system that captures properties of every Ghanaian and everybody, we have the details and the data of every Ghanaian citizen. Your household, your property, wherever it is, even your land is captured. So we are now going to do flat rate. Flat rate here means that meters no more in Ghana. So every household, a story building household, for instance, a single story will be paying 200 Ghana cedis. A compound house of 15 rooms will be paying 200 Ghana cedis. A single bed, 4-bedroom will be paying 200 Ghana cedis. All these single compound houses, including single story building and 4 bedrooms, has a minimum flat rate of 200 Ghana cedis, not more than that. Kiosks will be paying 50 Ghana cedis every month. Every kiosk, no matter the size of the kiosk. Containers will be paying 50 Ghana cedis. Barbering saloons, and then saloons itself, that's the barbering shop and saloons, all of them will have a minimum of 100 Ghana cedis flat rate. This is to help the Ghanaian citizens produce and manufacture and industrialize at a very low cost, that Ghanaians' life will be cushioned. And I tell you, somebody will be asking me, how do you intend to do that? The data is helping me to do that. Number 2, it is the most efficient way of making everybody pay ECG. It is the most efficient way of collection of ECG. It is the most efficient way of minimizing the usage of ECG. Because when everybody is paying, nobody is wasting it. When everybody is paying, the debt, the huge cost on it will not be shifted to anybody. The tariffs will not be shifted to anyone. The tariffs will be stable. The tariffs will be okay. Nobody's going to waste ECG, and we will cushion the life. Same with water. Flat rate for water. Because companies must produce at a very low cost in order for us to live a decent life. Now, in doing that, going forward, same under the production, manufacturing, industrial hub, turning Ghana into a manufacturing industrial revolution. I intend to roll what is called free port